So we are just going to continue it. And all in all, we are now on lesson number 4, which focuses on discussing angle of elevation and angle of depression. Hi everyone! Welcome back! So here we are again going to discuss another lesson in math. So ano pang hinihintay natin? Tara na! So ano nga ba i-discuss natin for today? So we are just going to continue our discussion for the fourth trading period. So basically, we are now on lesson number 4. But this lesson number 4 is still under triangle trigonometry. We started discussing triangle trigonometry when we discussed the 6 trigonometric ratios. So we are just going to continue it. And all in all, we are now on lesson number 4, which focuses on discussing angle of elevation and angle of depression. So in this lesson, aside from you will know what are those what we call angle of elevation or angle of depression, you will also going to answer uh, problems which involves angle of elevation and depression with the help of the trigonometric ratios that we have discussed. So, just like what I mentioned to you earlier, ano pang hinihintay natin? Tara na! So let's start it with this given figure. So as you can see, meron tayong given figure dyan. So dyan natin malalaman o may papakita yung natawag nating two angles that we are pertaining to in the lesson. Namely, the angle of elevation and angle of depression. So, unang-una, we do have here point K. Point K to point M or ray KM. So that is what we call as the horizontal. It's just like if you are going to look for straight forward, so you will form horizontal. Okay. Then we do have their point L from ray KL and point N na nakapunang ray KN. So in that given, that point K is the eye of the observer. Yan tinatawag nating as the eye of the observer. Example, ikaw yung observer. So that's your eye. And from point K to point M, that is the horizontal. So let's say, for example, you're just going to look forward, straight forward. So you will form a horizontal. Then the point L and point N there, that is what we call as the objects. Yun yung objects na tinitignan natin. It's either we are going to look an object above or we are going to look an object below. That's point K to point L or point K to point N. Then from the horizontal, from point K to point M, from the horizontal, and if you are going to look an object above you, you will form an angle. And also from the horizontal, if you are going to look an object below you, so you are going to form an angle also. So yun yung dalawang angles that we are pertaining to in this lesson. So nasaan yung mga yon? So una, from the horizontal, from point K to point M, and if you are going to look at the object above you, so we will form the what we call angle of elevation. On the other hand, if uh, if from the horizontal and you are going to look at object below you, this time you will form an angle of depression. Later on, we are going to define what angle of elevation and depression is. So, this time, alamin mo natin what are the things or words that we can encounter in this lesson. So, unahin natin yung tinatawag na line of sight. Ano ba yung line of sight? Line of sight states that it is an imaginary line that connects the eye of an observer to the object being observed. So that's the line of sight. For example, you are going to look this object above you. So the line of sight that you will form is from point K to point L. That's also the same if you're going to uh, look for an object below you, so the line of sight that we are pertaining to is from point K to point N. So that's the line of sight that we are pertaining to. So aside from line of sight, again, with that given figure, ma-identify natin yung tinatawag natin angle of elevation. We have already mentioned kanina kung ano yung angle of elevation. So ano nga ba yun? How do we define angle of elevation? The angle of elevation, it is the angle from the horizontal. We made mention kanina the word horizontal to the line of sight of the observer to the object above. So, ibig sabihin, from the horizontal, from the eye of the observer, if you're going to look forward, straight forward, that will be your horizontal. And from there, if you're going to look an object above you, from the horizontal, you will form the what we call angle of elevation. So, ayun sinasabi natin angle of elevation. So, usually, angle of elevation is being formed when the observer is below. Example, nasa nasa daanan ka and you've seen a bird above you. So, makaka-form ka ng angle of elevation. So, meron din naman nakaka-form ng kahit nasa baba ka, makaka-form ka rin ng angle of depression. Let's take for example, nasa ground ka and you've seen an ant below you. So, yun ang may ibang angle na ma-form natin. Pero, usually, we can form angle of elevation when the observer is below. So, nasa baba yung observer natin. So, when you are going to look for an object above you, so you can form the angle of elevation with regards to with the help of the horizontal. So, aside from angle of elevation, i-define naman natin this time yung angle of depression. So, angle of depression, it defines as the angle from the horizontal, again, that's from the horizontal to the line of sight of the observer to the object below. So, yung line of sight na dinefine natin kanina, kasama siya sa definition ng angle of elevation and angle of depression. So, katulad yung sinabi natin kanina, so even if you are in the ground, once you've seen an object below you, so you can form an angle of depression. So, and usually, makaka-form tayo ng angle of depression when the observer is above. For example, the observer is on top of the building at nakita siya ng tao below or a car below. So, makaka-form tayo ng tinatawag na angle of depression. So, ayun yung sinasabi. But not necessarily mean na kapag nasa taas ka, puro angle of depression ang mapuform mo. You can also form angle of elevation depending on what you are looking for. It's either you are looking above you or you are looking below you. So if you are looking for an object above you together with the horizontal, so you will form angle of elevation. But if you are looking for an object below you, from the horizontal, you will form angle of depression. So sa madaling salita, kahit saan pwesto ka, kahit nasaan ka, so makaka-form ka tinatawag na angle of elevation and angle of depression. So sinasabi lang natin kanina, the usual is that you can form angle of elevation when the observer is below, while you can form angle of depression when the observer is above. But there are some instances that even if you are above or even if you are below, you can still form angle of elevation and angle of depression. So ngayon, ano yung kailangan natin in order for us to solve problems which involves angle of elevation and angle of depression? So dito na ngayon papasok yung application of the trigonometric functions that are the trigonometric ratios rather that we have discussed. So particularly, the trigonometric ratios na ginagamit natin dito are the basic trigonometric ratios just like sine or yung tinatawag natin in short na SOHCAHTOA. Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, while tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. So basically, those three basic trigonometric ratios yung ginagamit natin in order for us to solve problems which involves angle of elevation and angle of depression. Now, let's apply those trigonometric ratios in order for us to solve angle of elevation and angle of depression. So let's have this example number 1. So in example number 1, so let me read first the problem. So a tower is 15.24 meter high. At a certain distance away from the tower, an observer determines that the top of it, that determines that the angle of elevation to the top of it is 41 degrees. How far is the observer from the base of the tower? So let me repeat. Again, a tower is 15.24 meter high. At a certain distance away from the tower, an observer determines that the angle of elevation to the top of it is 41 degrees. How far is the observer from the base of the tower? So, obviously, the problem is about angle of elevation. Because if you are going to analyze the problem, so, sabi doon, there is a tower. And there is an observer na tinignan yung top of the tower na ang angle of elevation ay 41 degrees. So what we are looking for is how far is that observer from the base of the tower. So basically, kapag given ay verbal problems, medyo mahirapan nating intindihan kung hindi natin na-visualize, di ba? So, mas maganda if we can draw what is happening in the problem. So dapat ma-visualize natin kung ano ba yung nangyayari in the problem. So doon papasok yung paggawa natin ng illustration. So by doing that, we are showing what is happening in the problem. Because by also doing that, we can come up of an idea on how are we going to solve for that certain problem. So, with regards to that given example, so the illustration that we are going to form is just like this. So, pasensya na kayo sa drawing ko So, medyo medyo hindi ganun kaganda, pero that helps you in order for you to understand our lesson for today. So sabi doon, a tower is 15.24 meter high. So this is a tower, for example, and its height is 15.24. And there is this observer. And this observer, tinignan niya yung top of the tower. So ito ngayon yung from the eye of the observer, ito yon, from the horizontal, this is the horizontal, then to the top of the tower, the angle of elevation daw is 41 degrees. So what we are looking for is that how far is this observer from the base of the tower. So we are looking for the distance of that observer to the base of the tower. So we will mark that as x. So ang given natin, yung height of the tower which is 15.24 meters, while the angle of elevation is equal to 41 degrees. So now that we visualize it, so magkakaroon na tayo ngayon ng idea on how are we going to solve for the problem. So paano nga ba yung gagawin natin? So what solution are we going to do? So dito na ngayon papasok yung trigonometric ratios that we have discussed. So tingnan natin with regards to the angle given. Ano ba yung angle given natin? That is 41 degrees. With regards to this angle given, how is it related to this side? So basically, ang mapoform natin dito is a right triangle. So right triangle dapat ito mapoform natin. So with regards to this given angle, how is it related to this side? Ano ng angle na to? Yung side na yon, which is the height of the tower. So yun ay kanyang opposite side. So so this time how this angle given is related to the one we are looking for, which is the distance of the observer from the base of the tower. So yun yung kanyang adjacent sides. So look at this. So from the given angle 41 degrees, that side opposite to it is that side that measures 15.24 meters is its opposite side. While this side that we are looking for is the adjacent side. So, going back on the trigonometric ratios, which of the first three trigonometric ratios is using opposite and adjacent? So, that means you are pertaining to tangent. So, in order for us to solve for the measure for the distance of the observer from the base of the tower, so kailangan nating gumamit ng tangent. So, sabi natin, since given yung measure ng angle, once you write that trigonometric function, it will follow right away. You will attach there right away the measure of the angle. So, that should be tangent 41 degrees equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So, magkakaroon tayo ng equation na tangent 41 degrees is equal to opposite, that is 15.24 over x. So since what we are looking for is x, so this is our given equation now. So what are we going to do is to solve this given equation, isolating this given equation. So we can make use of cross multiplication. This is over 1, right? So tangent 41 degrees times x will come up with x tangent 41 degrees, or pwedeng tangent 41 degrees x is equal to 1 times 15.24, magiging 15.24. Kaya magiging ganito yung equation natin. That is x tangent 41 degrees is equal to 15.24. So what we are looking for is x. X there is still accompanied by tangent 41 degrees. So if we want to eliminate tangent 41 degrees here, we have to divide both sides of the equation by tangent 41 degrees. So if we're going to do that, tangent 41 degrees here will be eliminated. So ang matitira ngayon ay x. So you just have to press this on a calculator. So bring out your calculator now. So then follow my instruction. So other calculators, meron diyang fraction form. So una, pindutin yung fraction form. Then ilagay sa taas, 15.24. Ilagay sa baba ay tangent 41 degrees. Then press equals. Well, sa mga wala naman, medyo hindi latest yung scientific calculator. So let's do yung the long way. It's just like ganito. Una, press 15.24. Then press divided by, then press tan. And symbol for tangent, T-A-N. Then press 41, then press DMS, yung degree sign, yung degree, yung DMS, yung bilog, tweet, tapos yung end of quote. So, ayun yung symbol for DMS. So, press that, then press equals. So, pag ginawa nyo yun, malalaman nyo that you will find out that malalaman nyo na ang value ng x is equal to 17.53 meters. So we are, since the answer is in terms of decimals, so we are going to round up the decimals into decimal places. We are going to round up our answer into 2 decimal places. So dapat ganyan din yung nakuha nyo using your own calculator. Again ang ginawa, you have to press first 15.24, then press divided by, then press tan, press 41, press DMS, then press equals. So, if you're going to round up the answer to 2 decimal places, you'll come up with the value of x, which is 17.53. So, since there is a unit of measurement involved in the problem, which is in terms of meter, so the final answer should be in terms of meters also. So, the correct answer for problem number 1 is equal to 17.53 meters. Did you get example number 1? So, if not yet, let's try another example. Let's have example number 2. So, let me read again problem number 2. So, from the top of 172-meter high water tank, the angle of depression to a house is 15 degrees. How far is the house from the water tank? So there is a water tank na ang taas ay 172 meters. Then, the angle of depression. So ang problem is about angle of depression to a house is 15 degrees. So sa madaling salita, the observer is on top of the water tank. So it's just like that. So how far is the house from the water tank? So gaano kalayo excuse me. Gaano kalayo yung bahay na yon from the water tank? So that's what we are looking for. So again, sabi natin, para mas maintindihan natin na mas mabuti yung kung ano yung sinusolve natin, mas maganda if you are going to draw an illustration. Papakita natin for you to visualize what is happening in the problem. So kapag drawing natin yung sinasabi in the problem, ganito yung kalalabasan niya. So this will be the illustration. Okay. This tower, ang taas niya ay 172 meters. Tower. The angle of elevation down to a house, so may nakitang house sa mga sa baba, the angle of depression rather, the angle of depression is 15 degrees. So malamang sa malamang, the observer is on top of the tower. So what we are asking for is how far is that house from the base of the tower, or from the base of the tower. Di ba angle of depression is from the horizontal to an object below. So ibig sabihin, if this is the observer and if you're going to look forward, straight forward, so ito yung horizontal na sinasabi natin. And looking at an object below, which is the house, yun yung tinatawag nating angle of elevation. Ibig sabihin, ito yung angle of depression niya na 15 degrees. So kung 15 degrees to, bakit naging 15 degrees din yun? So imagine kung meron tayong parallel lines. So, eto, tsaka yung distance, they are parallel to each other. And this line will serve as the transversal. Diba? So, yung angle na to and this angle, ang tawag sa kanila ay alternate interior angles. And if you are going to talk about their measurements, so their measurements are congruent. So whatever the measure of this angle, that's also the measure of this angle. So that's why instead of using this, na hindi natin kailangan mag-form dito, so instead of using this, we are going to make use of this na lang because of the use of parallel lines that was cut by transversal. So from this given measure of angle, and we are going to find out what trigonometric ratio are we going to use for this to solve the problem. So with this, with regards to this given measure of angle, how is it related to that height of the water tank? That is its opposite side. How about its distance from the tower, the distance of the house from the tower, which is the one we are looking for? That is its adjacent side. So opposite and adjacent. So what trigonometric ratio is that? So again, here we are using of tangent. So for our solution, for example number 2, so if we're going to make use of tangent, that would be, since 15 degrees yung given yung measure ng angle natin na 15 degrees, since tangent is what we are looking for, so when you write the trigonometric function na tangent, you will attach right away the measure of the angle. That should be tangent 15 degrees is equal to opposite, that would be 172, over adjacent, which is x. Then from there, isolate that given equation to solve what is unknown in the problem. So, do the cross multiplication. This is over 1. So, tangent 15 degrees times x, you'll come up with x tangent 15 degrees. Then 1 times 72 is equal to 172. So, that's why magiging ganito yung palalabasan natin. That is x tangent 15 degrees is equal to 172. Then as you can see, yung x still accompanied by tangent 15 degrees. So to eliminate that, we have to divide both sides of the equation by tangent 15 degrees. So from there, may eliminate na yung tangent 15 degrees dito, matitira na lang ay x. Then again, using your scientific calculator, so just like what we did on the first one. So, kung may fraction, madali na lang. Just enter this, the numerator and the denominator, then press equals. So, ganun din naman. So, but if your calculator you don't have the fraction form, so ganti gagawin natin. So, una, press 172. So, press 172, press divided by, that is for the over, the fraction bar. 172 divided by, press tangent, press 15, then press DMS. Then press equals. So pag nasundan nyo yung I asked kung ano yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, i-press ninyo, dapat ang magiging sagot nyo ay x is equal to 641.91 meters. So it should be x is equal to 641.91 meters. So again, since the answer is in terms of decimals, so we are going to round up our answer into 2 decimal places. So 641.91 meters pa ang layo ng bahay doon sa taas ng water tank, doon sa base ng water tank. So base doon sa angle of depression na pinakita doon sa problem na 15 degrees. So imagine kung gaano pa kalayo yung bahay na tinutukoy natin dito. So syempre naman, di ba pag nasa taas ka, pag nasa taas yung observer, makikita mo kahit malayo yung bahay, makikita mo, di ba? So yung nakita niyang bahay, even though maraming bahay, yung nakita niyang bahay ay malayo doon sa base of the water tank. So, nakuha natin yon na ang angle of elevation daw ay 15 degrees. So, nakuha natin yon by using the trigonometric ratio na tangent. At nalaman natin na ang layo pala ng bahay dun sa base of the water tank is equal to 641.91 meters. Bakit meters? Because a unit of measurement involved in the problem is in terms of meters. That's why your answer should be in terms of meters. So, nakuha example number 2. Any question? So, if none, let's proceed to answering example number 3. So, example number 3. So, again, let me read the problem. An airplane is flying at a height of 4 kilometers above the ground. So, yung airplane, there's an airplane and it's flying 4 kilometers above the ground. The distance along the ground from the airplane to the airport is 6 kilometers. So, ibig sabihin, along the ground, kung saan yung airplane, diba, 4 kilometers hanggang baba, ang taas niya. Mula doon sa baba nun, hanggang doon sa airport, ang distance naman ay 6 kilometers. So, what is the angle of depression from the airplane to the airport? So, we are looking for the angle of depression. Ibig sabihin, we are looking here for the measure of the angle. So, that is what we are looking for. Na given yung height ng airplane from the ground, then from the ground na ground ng airplane to the airport, ang distance ay 6 kilometers. So, malamang sa malamang, the observer is on the plane. So, sabihin na natin that the observer is the pilot of the plane. Ano gano'n? It's just like we are let us assume that the observer is the pilot of the plane. So, sabi nga natin kanina, para mas madali nating masolve yan, we have to draw an illustration for us to visualize what is happening in the problem. So if we are going to draw this, what is happening in this given problem in number 3, we will come up with this illustration. Okay, so this is the airplane. So that airplane to the ground, ang height niya ay 4 kilometers. Then from the ground, together with dun sa height ng airplane to the ground, hanggang dun sa airport, ang distance naman ay 6 kilometers. So what we are asking is the angle of depression. Let's say sabihin natin dito yung observer, which is the pilot. From the horizontal, ito yung horizontal natin. From the horizontal, and if you are going to look an object below, which is the airport, so makaka-form ka ng angle of depression. So ito yun. So ito yung angle of depression that we are pertaining to. So this is what we are looking for. So just like yung problem natin kanina, kung ito from the horizontal is a horizontal line, this is also another horizontal line. So we can form here parallel lines. Then this line will serve as the transversal. So it's just like we are going to apply parallel lines that was cut by transversal. So whatever the measure of this angle, that's also the measure of this angle because they are what we call as alternate interior angles. Again, they are called as alternate interior angles. And if we are talking about their measurements, they are congruent in measure. So from there, instead of using this angle, we are going to make use of this angle because we said that they are just the same in measure. So, with regards to this given angle, how is it related to this side? So, this side is its opposite side. And this side, yung from the ground naman to the airport is its adjacent side. So, again, we are talking about opposite and adjacent. So, which trigonometric ratio is uh, useful in order for us to solve this problem. So, gagamit tayo ulit ng tangent at trigonometric ratios. So, since hindi given yung measure ng angle, so, we are going to mark that angle as theta. Tatandaan yung theta na discuss natin, yung parang oblong tapos may grade sa gitna. So, since we still don't know yet the measure of the angle. So, that's why if we are going to form our equation with the use of that with the use of the trigonometric ratios that we found that we need to use in order for us to solve the problem, which is the trigonometric ratio for tangent. So we are going to form the equation. So we'll come up with tangent theta. So ito yon. That stands for this question mark since we still don't know yet the measure of this angle. So that's tangent theta is equal to 4 over 6. So ganyan form nating equation. Then, kung yung medyo latest yung calculator niyo, pwede nyo i-direct yan eh. That's tangent, tapos pindutin yung fraction form, then ilagay yung 4 on the numerator, then ilagay yung 6 on the denominator. Anyway, by the way, since the angle is what we are looking for, before pressing first the tangent, you have to press for shift. Shift or second function, second F, nakalagay dyan. That's the same as shift. Shift or second F or second function. Shift, then press tangent, magiging tangent raised to negative 1 yun. Is equal, din nyo kailangan pinutin yung theta. That's just our symbol for the angle that we are looking for. Shift, tangent, magiging raised to negative 1, then press fraction, then write 4 on the numerator, 6 on the denominator, then press equals. So, ang lalabas doon ay decimals. Then, pag lumabas yung decimals, since angle is what we are looking for, So you have to press DMS. Saka may press yung DMS for you to find out for the angle. Pero kung gagamitin natin walang fraction na scientific calculator, you have to divide first 4/6. So 4 divide by 6, so yung unang gagawin, magkakaroon ka ngayon ng tangent theta is equal to 0.66667 so on and so forth. So inano natin, ni-rounded off na natin kasi walang katapusan yung kanyang value. So from there, so you are going to press shift, then tangent, so magkakaroon ng tangent -1, then press this, so makuha mong sagot ay makakuha ka ng sagot na 33 point something. Makukuha mo ay 33 point something na answer. Then, kung decimals yon, if you want to form it to find out the exact measure of the angle, you just have to press DMS. So, i-press mo yung DMS, then you will get the exact measure of the angle that we are looking for, which is equal to 33 degrees, 41 minutes, and 24.24 seconds. So that's the measure of this angle, which is also the measure of this angle, which is what we call as the angle of depression. So yun yung measure ng angle that we are pertaining to. So dalawa yung pwede natin gawin So pwede na agad natin gawin. Again if the angle is what we are looking for, the first thing you are going to press is shift. Shift or second function. Second F na nakalagay doon. Press that, then before pressing tangent. So magkakaroon ng tangent raised to -1. Pwedeng times 4 divide by 6. Or just simply press yung fraction, then write 4, then on the numerator, then 6 on the denominator, then press equals, ang lalabas doon ay 33 point something. Kasi yung 33 na yun, which is the whole number, ayun yung degree. Pero since my point yung lalabas, ibig sabihin, the measure of the angle is not exact. So if you want to find out for the exact measure of the angle, you still have to press DMS. It's either the symbol DM, nakalagay doon DMS, o kaya yung degree, ganun, tsaka yung end of oath. So, ganun yung make that. Parang ganito, symbol na ganito, degree for minutes and for seconds. Kasi DMS stands for degrees, minutes, and seconds. So, yan dapat yung makikita nating symbol na nasa scientific calculator. So, just press that, then ganito yung lalabas dapat na sagot natin. So, it should be 33 degrees, 41 minutes, and 24.24 seconds. So, that is the angle of depression that we are pertaining to in problem number 3. Any question? So, if not, let's proceed to another problem. Let's have problem number 4. So, let me read again problem number 4. So a hiker is 400 meters away from the base of the radio tower. The angle of elevation to the top of the tower is 46 degrees. How high is the tower? So we are looking for the height of the tower. So yung hiker daw ay 400 meters away. So ganun pa siya kalayo dun sa radio tower. So the angle of elevation from the observer to the top of the radio tower is 46 degrees. So, gaano daw kataas yung radio tower? So, of course, para ma-visualize natin yun, of course, let's also draw an illustration. Illustration showing what is happening in the problem. So, kung gagawa tayo ng illustration with that given example on number 4, so ganito yung mapo-form natin. So, medyo lang, pero pagpasensyahan nyo na. So, ito for example, yung hiker. So, yung hiker daw is 400 meters away from the base of the radio tower. Ganun siya kalayo sa radio tower. Then, tanaw na niya yung top of the radio tower. So, nung tinignan niya yung radio tower from the horizontal, ang na-form niyang angle of elevation is 46 degrees. So, kung ganon yung given natin, kung 400 meters ang layo niya, tapos ang angle of elevation from the top of the tower is 46 degrees, gaano daw kataas ngayon yung radio tower? So, this is what we are looking for in the problem. So, now let's analyze it for us to come up with the solution to the problem. So, pag in-analyze natin siya, with regards to this given measure of angle, how is it related to that side that we are looking for? Yung minark natin as x, yun ay kanyang opposite side. While this side, which is its distance from the base of the tower, is its adjacent side. So that is opposite and adjacent. So what trigonometric ratio is that? So again, we are talking about, or we are going to make use of the trigonometric ratio na tangent. So paano? Let's form now the equation. So tangent yung gagamitin natin, so 46 degrees given yung measure ng angle. So sinabi natin, when we write the function, we are going to attach right away the measure of the angle because since it's already given. Then equal to opposite over hypotenuse or opposite over adjacent rather. So that will come we will form an equation na tangent 46 degrees is equal to x over 400. Okay, so from that equation, we are going to isolate that for us to find out for the value of the unknown that we are looking for in the problem. So we can use cross multiplication, that is tangent 46 degrees over 1. So 1 times x is x. Then tangent 46 degrees times 400, it will be equal to 400 tangent 46 degrees. So magiging ganito. X is equal to 400 tangent 46 degrees. Then using your scientific calculator, so all you have to do for you to find out for the value of x is, una, press 400. Kasi sa ibang latest, medyo diretso na yan eh. Press, ganito sa latest ha. Press 400, press tan, press 46, press DMS, then press equals. Then you come up with the answer. Pero doon sa luma, yung medyo hindi latest, so ganito yung pipindutin. Press 400, press times, press tangent, press 46, press DMS, press equals. So madadagdagan lang ng times na ipipress natin. Kasi may mga scientific calculator na hindi agad na re-read na kapag sinulat natin 400 tangent 46 that we are pertaining to multiplication. May mga ganun yan. That's why we have to write or to press first yung times na operation before pressing tangent 46 degrees. So if you will follow what I've mentioned to you to press, so you'll come up with the value of x which is equal to 414.21 meters. So ibig sabihin yung taas ng radio tower is equal to 414.21. Again, hindi siya exact So, ang answer na makukuha natin ay decimals. And still, we are going to round up that to 2 decimal places. So that's why we come up with 414.21 meters. Meters is because the unit of measurement involved is in terms of meters. So did you get example number 4? So hopefully, kasi naka-apat na example na tayo. So hopefully, yung first 4 examples ay medyo nakuha na natin ng idea kung paano natin sinusolve yung angle of elevation and angle of depression. Pero kung hindi pa rin, let's try another example. So let's have example number 5. So let me read example number 5. So a balloon is 50 meters high. Its angle of elevation from observer A is 45 degrees. and from the observer B is 30 degrees. What is the maximum distance between the two observers? Dalawang observer ang meron tayo in the problem. That is, observer A, na ang angle of elevation niya, nung tinignan niya yung balloon na 50 meter high, yung ang taas, lumipad na yung balloon, 50 meter ang taas niya from the ground. So, yung observer A, sabi natin doon sa kabilang side, yung observer A, ang nang tinignan niya yung balloon, meron siyang nakikita angle of elevation na 45 degrees. Pero yung observer B, which is mas malayo doon sa observer A, nakita doon mas malayo kasi mas mababa yung angle na maperform niya. The more na lumalapit ka doon sa distance from the object to the ground, the more tumataas yung angle mo. Pero the more na lumalayo ka, mas bumababa yung angle na ma-perform. So, from 45 degrees yung angle of elevation ng observer A. Then, yung observer B, which is mas malayo sa observer A, ang ma-perform yung angle of elevation ay 30 degrees. So, what is the maximum distance between the two observers? So, we are looking for the distance from observer A to observer B. So, gaano kalayo sila sa isa't isa? So, yun yung hinahanap natin in the problem. So, para maipakita natin yan or ma-visualize niyo, papakita natin through illustration. So, ganito yung illustration niya. So, ma-perform natin illustration na ito. For example, this is the balloon. Ito yung balloon natin, lumipad na. So, 50 meters high yan above the ground. Let's say this is the first observer, observer A. Yung observer A, nung tinignan niya yung balloon, from the horizontal, naka-form siya ng angle of elevation of 45 degrees. Then yung observer B, na mas malayo sa observer A, nung tinignan niya naman yung balloon, naka-form naman siya ng angle of elevation na 30 degrees. So what we are asking is the maximum distance from observer A to observer B. So imamark natin yun as X because that is what we are looking for in the problem. So analyzing the illustration that we've shown, so if you are going to look at the angle given, yung mga angle na yun, yung tinatawag nating special angles. But 30 degrees now is 45 degrees. And from the height of this balloon to the observer B and to the observer A, makaka-form tayo dyan ng right angle. So, meron tayong right triangle. So, kung 45 degrees to, 45 degrees din yun. Diba, meron tayong tinatawag na 45 degree, 90 degree special right triangle. So, ibig sabihin, special right triangle, yung mapuform natin dito. So, ganun din dito. Kasi kung 30 degrees to, alam natin na 90 degrees to, so ibig sabihin, 60 degrees to. So, we know that this is also a special right triangle na tinatawag na 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees special right triangle. Diba sabi natin pag ganun yung case, once we know that the given triangle is a special right triangle, kahit isang given lang makita natin, we can find out the measure of the other sides of that triangle. Just like this 45 degrees, 45, 45, 90 degrees special right triangle. Di ba pag 45, 45, 90 degrees special right triangle, ang mapuform natin doon is an isosceles right triangle. Pag sinabi natin isosceles right triangle, meron siyang dalawang sides which are congruent in measure. So kung ang measure ng angle na to ay 45 degrees, itong angle na to ay 45 degrees, yung side adjacent to it, other than the hypotenuse, are also congruent in measure. So ibig sabihin, given na yung side na to, which is 50 meters, so ibig sabihin, alam mo na rin yung measure of this side. So that side also measures 50 meters. So we made use of 45 degree, 90 degree special right triangle or triangle theorem. Na kapag given yung one of the sides, one of the leg in a given 45, 45, 90 degrees special right triangle, so for you to find out of the other leg, it's the same measure of it because they are congruent in measure because the leg are congruent when your given triangle is a 45, 45, 90 degrees special right triangle. So this side measures 50 meters. So nakuha na natin to. Ito na lang yung kailangan natin. So para makuha natin yung measure of this, so kakailanganin naman natin yung another special right triangle na 30 degrees, 60 degree, and 90 degrees special right triangle. Kung 30 degrees to, yung katapat niyang side is the shorter leg. Shorter leg yon. So, ibig sabihin, what we are looking for is the longer leg because this is the hypotenuse. Given the shorter leg, what would be the measure of the longer leg? Diba? According to 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree triangle theorem, given the shorter leg, for you to find out for the longer leg, so it's just shorter leg multiplied by square root of 3. So meron kang 50 times square root of 3, so magkakaroon ka ngayon ng measure of this side as 50 square root of 3. Mas mahaba to kasi ito 50 meters lang, ito 50 square root of 3 meters. So nakuha na natin total mesh, yung measure ng side na to, tsaka yung measure ng side na to. So ibig sabihin, makukuha na natin yung measure, yung distance from point A to point B, yung maximum distance from observer A to observer B. So our solution, so we just have to add the two. So the x now is equal to 50 plus 50 square root of 3. Then, i-simplify natin to 50 times square root of 3. So, 50 times square root of 3 or write 50 square root of 3, then press equal. So, magiging 50 plus 86.60. Round up to 2 decimal places yun ha. Yung 50 square root of 3 is equivalent to 86.60. Then add the 2, we do a 50 plus 86.60, magkakaroon tayo ng answer na 136.60 meters. So that is the maximum distance from point or observer A to observer B. So they are 136.60 meters away from each other. So that's how we answer example number 5. Do you have any questions? So I hope with that 5 examples that we answered, so kahit papano may natandaan kayo on how angle of elevation and angle of depression was being solved with the help of the trigonometric ratios that we have discussed. So if there are no more questions, that would be all for today. Nagustuhan nyo yung video na to, so just hit like, share this video, and also subscribe IGOP Lord official channel. So, importante is for you to subscribe the IGOP Lord official channel. And also, don't forget to comment down below if you do have anything to say. So, hanggang sa muli, goodbye!